So it's no surprise that there are a lot of people who ended up growing up with Pokemon, whether it was from watching the anime, playing the games, collecting the cards, or just in general all three together. Which, by the way, I feel like there was a shit ton of people back then who had watched Pokemon and did not realize it was an anime and went to shit on every 5th grader who watched anime like Naruto, Dragon Ball, since it was, I guess, the norm back then, but whatever. While that was going on, there was another anime also airing, which was Digimon, which literally just means digital monster. Monsters that are digital, I guess. I don't know. Instead of monsters coming out of balls, I don't know which one sounds more ridiculous, but why even question it? Also, with the name, I kind of knew that Digimon just was short for digital monster, but I did not know what the fuck Pokemon stood for. But it was until I searched up for this video and it was Pocket Monster, if I'm not mistaken, or else I will be massacred if I'm wrong. For me, I ended up growing up with both. On one side, I saw digital monsters evolving into fucking who knows what, into these small, can I even call them animals? Little tiny monsters basically, into this gigantic fuck. And then on the other side, I saw a 10-year-old cunt never becoming the Pokemon master. Like, Ash Ketchum is the most optimistic anime character I've ever seen. Dude's been saying he'll be the Pokemon master in every series, and guess what? He actually ended up becoming the Pokemon master because it took him 22 fucking years to do that. For him to become a Pokemon master. But the worst part is, I think for me, it's that it's this version of Ash Ketchum. I don't know what's worse, having to wait all that time or seeing that it's this version of Ash becoming a Pokemon master. Also, how are you gonna just oversleep on the day you have been waiting for so long to become a Pokemon trainer, and the one day you don't want to oversleep, you do exactly that? Like, this man is all kinds of a mess. So with Pokemon, it wasn't just one thing that made it so big like it is today. It was because of all the three outlets of the anime, the cards, and the games that made it this thing that became a worldwide phenomenon. Like, look at the recent surge of the popularity of the cards again. Like, everyone's trying to get on the hype of getting the cards again, but obviously it's just for the money. They couldn't care less about the cards themselves. I mean, if you were to get a first edition Charizard, which is worth about 200,000, can you imagine the amount of beef crunchy tacos you can get from Taco Bell? Like 105,820 of them. Like, that's the only reason anyone needs to get a first edition Charizard, like nothing else. The games were also really big at one point. I'm not sure about right now because I don't hear about them much, but the older games like Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue and whatever else there is were the ones that everyone was playing on, like the DS or the Game Boy or whatnot, which is actually how the series actually started, because it was because of the games that the series and everything started up. Like, it was not an anime original, or there was no manga, or the cards didn't exist back then. It was from Pokemon Red and Blue that the whole series started from. See, for me, I didn't really collect the cards that much, neither did I play the games, so to speak, I only really just watched the anime. And I would compare to Digimon just because I was a 5-year-old and I saw that they both had Mon at the end of their names, so I didn't need any more reason than that. Well, since Digimon is the less known of the two, I'll explain the basic premise of the story. So it starts off with these 7 kids in summer camp, just chilling, and out of nowhere they start chilling really hard because it starts snowing out of nowhere in the middle of fucking summer. And then they find these little devices, and then poof, they're in the Digimon digital world, which basically means they got isekai'd. And then each of the kids meet their own digital monsters, with the main character's one is Taichi, and his one is called Agumon. Well, actually no, his Digimon monster starts up with his first evolution, which is the most useless one, but it's called Koromon. But for the most of the series, it stays in the second evolution, which is, its name is called Agumon. I still don't understand why they have so many different names. But for that particular Digimon, he has his name is funny to me because in like my language, Agu just means shit. So basically he's Shitmon. I know, I was a funny kid. So every character had a Digimon, and they all evolve whenever their human counterparts are in trouble and somehow evolve into something completely different. And so they end up going on an adventure to get back home and find all the weird shit that goes on in that digital world. And yeah, that's all there is to it. I ended up really enjoying the story because there was no sense of repetition going on, because there was something or the other going on while they're trying to go back home, and how they find out different evolutions the Digimons had, and how some parts are focused on some of the other characters and not just more or less focused on the main guy. Like they focus each episode on the other character and their Digimon and their evolution and whatnot, and that's the part where I like, because they don't just only spend their time just on the main character, which was Taichi and Agumon. So to me, it felt like it had more of a story than Pokemon did. Like it more or less had a start and end to their main story for Digimon, which is just the first 2 seasons, the 6 tree movies, which what they are called, by the way, and there's a last movie for the series a whole, because the rest of the seasons that they had made and whatnot had nothing to do with the main story, so they are more or less just filler at this point. So it's only the first 2 seasons. I think there's a movie as well. There's about like a good amount of movies they did for just the main story, but if you want to watch it, just you can look it up. I also like that they weren't afraid to make the characters older. Like by the end of the series, they were already adults, like whereas Ash Ketchum, from what I can remember, is literally been a 10-year-old for the past 20 or so years. Like it would be nice to see him be older and still trying to be a Pokemon master. Well, now that's not possible, I guess, since the dude's already become a Pokemon master while still being a child. See, with Pokemon, I really enjoyed it at first, but there was so much repetition, and it literally, that's the reason why it made me stop watching it, is because of that. Like, okay, Ash ends up finding a new Pokemon on his way to another gym. He gets it, he encounters Team Rocket after that, he defeats them, then he ends up going to the gym for the first time and loses. And then he encounters Team Rocket again, defeats them again for the I don't know how many times they've done that, and then goes back to the gym for the second time and ends up winning. And then he goes to another gym and then rinse and repeat, essentially. Like, yes, they would try to change up the characters by having Misty be replaced or Brock be replaced, but that didn't really do it for me. It was just the same thing over and over. It's just the main story itself felt like it was being repeated. The story really didn't keep me invested enough to stick around. Like, I only found out that Ash became a Pokemon master after I had searched it up for this video, or else I think I would have never found out, just because I wasn't bothered enough to just go find out. But the first opening of Pokemon still slaps, and it is something that never will be defeated. But it was because of that kind of repetition that ruined it for me and made me see Digimon in a better light, since there wasn't this much repetition to go with. I even rewatched it a while ago and made me want to watch it even less. I wish they did it in a different way, but it is what it is, obviously. I feel that with Digimon, since it got super overshadowed by just the entirety of Pokemon, that people more or less disregarded. Honestly, for me, Pokemon is the better overall company, I guess. I don't know how to explain that, because I'm grouping the anime, the cards, and the games, which, by the way, whoever marketed that was a fucking genius. But see, for me, Digimon will always be the better anime. Alright guys, that's it for today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Peace.
Hey, mama said if I keep living like this, I'ma die.